Hello and welcome. We are live with Amre Moussa, former Secretary General of the League of Arab States and a statesman that really needs no introduction. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. Very happy to be with you.
Thank you very much. We're very happy that you're here too. Our conversation today is about the state of the world. And you know how this works. He wants to respond to your question, so please post the question right in the feed and he will respond right now. So we're talking about the state of the world with Amre Moussa. So sir, if I can ask you, as we wait for the questions to come in, if I can ask you just for a litmus test on the state of the world, what would your answer be?
I would say that it is confusing because of the absence of clarity about the new American policy, ideas of the world, the intentions on how to lead or to participate or to support the solutions to the problems of the world. So this confusion, this absence of clarity is very dangerous to the stability of the international system and the advancement of international relations.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. We are live with Amre Moussa. Please post questions in the feed. And if you know anybody else who would love this conversation, please share. We have a first question from Adele. Thank you, Adele. Adele would like to know, why is the role of the Arab world, the Arab Union, not impactful in the Arab world?
Well, this is a very complicated region, and the decades, especially after World War II, back in the 40s, the introduction of the State of Israel into the Arab region without, in fact, a proper preparation that would preserve the rights of the Palestinians also, and would not infringe upon their interests, their well-being. And this started the tension in the region, the tension between the Arab world and the big powers that the World War II has produced and put on the center stage of the world. This created a major state of tension, with the Arabs trying to defend the Palestinian rights, and the international politics, the Western policies, tried to help the new Israeli state stabilize and be part of that region that has rejected the imposition. This is the beginning. Second, I must say in all honesty that the Arab management of things were not up to the expected level, because together with defending the rights of the Palestinian people, and I believe this is a just position and it should have been done, together with this, efforts to build the societies, better education, healthcare, services, agriculture, all the files of the life of any society should have been also catered to in an efficient way, which did not happen. Third, also that democracy and basic rights of the human being were absent in many or in several places in the Middle East. Therefore, this complicated situation, imposition of policies, negligence on the part of several governments, and at the same time, the policies of big powers, superpowers, in particular the United States, did not support democracy, in fact, or care about basic rights, but continued to try to mobilize support for the Western policies vis-a-vis the Soviet and Eastern Bloc. The issue of Israel, also Israel-Palestine, poisoned the atmosphere in the region. Therefore, the Arab Union, as you say, was very much under attack, and with a lot of policies against it, militating against the realization of any viable Arab Union. All this resulted in the revolutions, the major uprisings of the 2011 that introduced a state of what can I say, state of chaos into the Arab region. But here, in fact, I believe that it is a passing phenomenon. This is not the end of history. This is a negative development. The chaos, the introduction of chaos, the introduction of anarchy. But the Arab world is changing now and moving on and rejecting the continuation of the negative policies and the bad management, and want to link up with the 21st century. And I believe that the Arab world will do just that, together with the introduction of a policy of regional cooperation, regional development that should be led by the Arab countries.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much. We're live with Amre Moussa. And so I want to ask you to please, on the key point you mentioned there of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Well,
if you can just give us your sense right now, where we stand now, is there an opportunity right now? Do you think we might have a breakthrough right now, as many people are saying?
Well, a breakthrough is a very big word.
Yes.
If Mr. Trump would lead an international movement, international march into a different situation, positive situation,
Yes.
on the question of peace between Palestinians and Israelis, this would be very good. But it must have some details, some
Yes.
plans, clear plans for everybody to understand and to express support and help achieve something positive, something new. But until now it is vague. We don't know exactly what is in the head of Mr. Trump. That's number one. Number two, if anything, it should not repeat the experience of the 90s, that is negotiations for the sake of negotiations, for the sake of the photo opportunities, just to show the world that there is peace negotiations, there is a process of peace,
Yes,
etc.
yes.
And it was absolutely devoid of any positive, any real thing. So if the negotiations are to resume as a result of the efforts that we think Mr. Trump would do, there should be true negotiations, real negotiations. And in order to be real negotiations, there are certain basic points that have to be respected. First of all, there must be a plan. You don't enter the negotiations just to talk. There has to be an agenda, 1.1, point 2, point 3, etc. And then some reference point to judge what kind of negotiations are being conducted.
Yeah.
That's number one, an agenda, clear agenda. Number two, time frame. You cannot negotiate until the day of final judgment. There has to be a time frame, and time frame to be observed by, pursued by, or under the auspices of the Security Council of the United Nations. It shouldn't be under the auspices of any country, big or small, whatever the importance. Because there is the Charter of the United Nations, there are resolutions by the United Nations, there are 15 countries representing the whole world in the Security Council that would play together, reach consensus together about their judgment, the Council's judgment on the process of negotiations. You don't throw a table of negotiations just for the sake of it. That is number 2, agenda and time frame. 3 is the reference, as I say, the report. There must be a report every 6 months or so. If we decide that it should be 1 year, every 6 months a report be sent to the Security Council, introduced before the Security Council for their debate, for their consideration. That's number 3. Number 4, the policies, as we have witnessed back in the 90s, were a kind of how the whole international forces are catered to support one side and to put sugar-coated pills every now and then to the other weak side. There must be an honest position, honest policy that, okay, Israel should get those points, and the Palestinians should get those points. And let us see.
Yes.
But you cannot have it the way those negotiations were conducted in the 90s. It was so detrimental to the meaning of peace, to the building of peace. That's why it was impossible. It failed. If we move along the same lines as before, it will fail. Perhaps within a week or two. It will not continue.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We don't often get this chance to speak live with Amre Moussa, former Secretary General of the League of Arab States. And one question that has come up in our preparation is, for many people, you're someone who has seen everything, locally, regionally, globally. What are some of the things right now, globally, that keep you up at night?
The uncertainty.
That's one.
Yes, the element of uncertainty.
Okay.
Where are we heading? At peace, prosperity, etc.
Okay.
Or heading at chaos, confrontation, and even wars? If you see the situation in the Middle East, for example,
yes,
with Syria, Iraq, Libya, Yemen, etc., Israel, Palestine, this is chaos.
Yeah.
But if you go to the Pacific region, there is also chaos. The North Korea issue, the threats over there that involves many important and powerful countries. So the world, even the international system itself, the UN,
yes,
the World Bank, etc., all those institutions are being put under reconsideration.
Okay.
So this uncertainty is the most dangerous element when it comes to stability in the world.
Uncertainty about where the world is headed. Is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's very powerful.
And it has to do also with the absence of clarity in the American policies coming out of the White House.
Okay. Anything else you want to share?
I would just put this word.
That's a big one, a very big one.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. We have a great question here, which I think is related to what we just asked. Mark is asking, and since we're talking about the world stage, I'll just elevate it. What gives you the greatest hope for the world? You can also talk about the region if you want, but also the world.
The young people.
Okay.
We have in the Arab world almost 70% of the population of 400 million.
Yes.
Young people under the age of 35, the age of 40,
yes,
from 35 to 40. So this is a major, powerful element that gives me and many others hope.
Okay.
Hope. And these young people, you know, they're not as when we are young. They have this tool to connect with it very easily. They don't have to learn, to have to go to school. You know, they can do that alone at home.
Yes, yes.
You know, a young people, illiterate, for example, a young boy or girl, illiterate, but he has this phone, and with his fingers, he learns that there is a tsunami in Indonesia,
Yes.
or an earthquake in
Yes.
Ecuador. Or, so he is connected with the world. This is new. This is the hope.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That's
Thank
really
you.
positive energy.
Thank you.
We have a question here from Anna. Anna would like to know, you've said that the Arab world needs to unite behind issues such as the Syrian crisis. In practice,
that's what?
such as the Syrian crisis.
No, I didn't say so.
Okay.
I said we have to mobilize to establish a new order
Okay.
that has to do with peace, with development, with change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, in practice, Anna would like to know, how do you see that working? Which nations should take the lead, or how should that come to be?
Well, the important thing is to know that this is not the age of a leading personality,
Yes.
so everybody will follow.
Okay. Not the big
Or a
man.
leading, yes. This is an era of consensus, of several powers, several leaders, several that would work together
Yes.
and move together and call on the rest to abide by certain principles and so
Yes.
on. The example of the European Union
Yes.
at the beginning,
Yes.
it was the vision of two people or more
Yes.
to sit together and plan, offer something to the people, something positive, something that would touch their interests,
Yeah.
like the cool, what was it? This organization that brought six, the common market, common market as it started. So they moved, the six became 28
Yes.
or 27, and they would become 29 or 30
Yes.
very soon. This is the
So the shared agenda,
yes, shared
consensus.
agenda and shared leadership.
Yes. All right, sir, you also talked about young people as giving you hope.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know from your side, what would you recommend to countries to empower these young people?
Education.
Fantastic.
Education. Good education.
Yes.
Not just education. Good education. And countries, states, budgets will have to invest in the young people. This is the building for the future. This is the future. You know, now in the global newspapers, you read that in American, British, any newspaper, Asian newspapers, you find ads that this factory needs an engineer, 10 years experience, languages, knows English or good English. And this is put to the whole world. And the competition brings engineers in this example from Latin America, from Africa, from Asia, etc. And those concerned, they see who is better. And
Fantastic. So open,
therefore,
transparent.
We have to prepare our young to be those engineers and doctors and lawyers, etc. That will be addressed by the ads. Come, there are jobs, and we are ready to pay.
Yes.
But provided that you not only apply, but that you convince us with your education, with your background, with your experience. This is the responsibility of the societies. This is the responsibility of governments. Not only war and peace, but building for the future.
Amazing.
Investing in young people.
Fantastic. I have to say many young people would agree with you. We did the Shapers survey and many voted education as a big priority for young people. I want to thank you so much for your time. I know we're holding you up for many meetings. If you wanted to leave any parting thoughts, because many people who watch this video watch it because they get a chance to speak to someone who's on the world stage, who's seen it all, and very often they care about the world. So for people like this, if you have any parting thoughts as we let you go, sir, any parting thoughts you want to share?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.